Hello, welcome back to another week of sticking with it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. And let's just get straight into it. So, the topic for this week is captivating. Um, Obviously, when you think of that word, we think of things like things that are very engaging, right? Things that really draw your attention, make you focus on things. And uh, I know we ask this every week, but do you have any goal that you want to share or throw out, and that maybe we can connect to the idea of captivating?
Yeah, at the moment, I would just think that exercising is kind of a goal that I have right now.
Great. Exercising is a great example that we can use. A lot of people actually, for their New Year's resolution, talk about wanting to exercise more, run more, lose weight, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna send you something on Discord. You two people, I will drop it here as always, so you can follow along. And so there's five things that we can do to make things more captivating. And more specifically, we break those things down into making what you're doing fun, like doing the right thing, having it be fun, using the carrot, not the stick, um, not assuming that money is the best reward. Don't just use education by itself, and making the activity itself more rewarding. And we'll break all each and every one of those down. So we'll jump around a little bit. So bear with us, but we're gonna cover the top and bottom ones real quick. So make doing the right thing fun, and making the activity itself rewarding. So what those really mean is, so we talk about exercising, but there's definitely people out there that really enjoy exercising, right? And they fit it into their routine. They really enjoy it. But that's not the case with a lot of people, right? A lot of people view exercise as more of a chore. They do it out of like necessity more than personal desire to. And I think that's a big struggle when it comes to goals and sticking with things is you have to find that right balance of making your goal something, for example, like exercise, fun, and you have to make it rewarding. And to go off of that too is, rewards come in different shapes and sizes, and we're gonna touch on the middle one. Don't assume money is the best reward. When we say make the activity itself rewarding, you have to be careful with what you choose as a reward. So like money, it's often the first thing people think of as a reward. But there's studies in the book that we're reading, and that show money only works so well, and that gratification of getting money wears off over time. Specifically, people who make a salary of 75,000, um, up until that point, up until that threshold, they feel kind of the positive effects of making like a higher income. But when you go beyond that, it really starts to taper off. It doesn't really affect anyone. And the reasoning behind that is 75,000 is kind of the base threshold for meeting your basic needs. So people that make below that kind of suffer, other stress from problems due to the lack of income. But anything above that, as long as their basic needs are being met, there's no extra feelings of reward from money. So um, when you come up with rewards, you have to gamification. You really have to be careful with how you're implementing it, why you're implementing it. You have to keep your audience in mind. Sometimes you want to be careful because you might want to encourage a space of collaboration, but maybe you do something like, oh, you put a leaderboard. So like you're in like an exercise club, um, and the goal before was, hey, we're going to run in a group. We're going to commit ourselves to, one mile, maybe a couple miles every other week. But then, your leader introduces a leaderboard, and it's like, okay, whoever can finish first will get an extra reward. Well, all of a sudden that becomes less healthy because now the group kind of splits apart. It's kind of a race. You're not helping each other as much. So that's something you have to be careful when it comes to rewards. And touching on the fourth one on the list, the second from the bottom, the forget using education by itself. So what that means is it's not enough to just educate people. It is certainly important to educate people, but you also have to really apply what you learn, because if all you do is learn it, then it kind of just goes in one side and comes out the other way. And you can apply that to a lot of things, like any class subjects that you studied over the years, like or language is a really good example. You have to apply those things, because if you don't, then the you don't get everything that you can from it. And then the last one is using the carrot instead of the stick. So a lot of times people will cite like fear as a very easy motivation factor to motivate people to do certain things. But there's also a lot of studies that show, like, fear only does so much. And uh, fear doesn't necessarily last. It's more of a you preventing something happening to you rather than you actually wanting to do the task that you really set out to. So that point is just really touching on the fact that it is in the long run, fear is not the way to go. Fear is very short term. Uh, you will find a lot more success when you properly reward yourself and making that activity fun, and you don't think about as much of like things like fear, punishments, and all that. And if you're able to do these five things, or at least a couple of them, you'll find your goals a lot easier to achieve, a lot more captivating, and a lot easier to stick with it. Anyways, do you have any questions about that?
No, I think that was really insightful.
Great. Uh, well, thank you so much for joining us again, and see you next time. Bye.
Mhm.